feeling low.
Hello there, Lemonheads, and welcome back to the Lemonade Stand, or welcome if you are new. Sorry if I'm a little agitated. I just spent half an hour messing with my mic. Tech issues. My name is Brianna. I'm a certified personal trainer, a big, huge biology nerd, and a registered dietitian to be. We are gathered here today for another installment of my ongoing series, True Science. In this series, I combine my love of science with my interest in true crime. Here we talk about everything from doctors that turned out to be frauds, bizarre medical phenomenon, mad scientists, and everything in between. Before we proceed, if you love science-based health, wellness, and fitness education with some lulz and some dry sarcasm on the way, why not hit that subscribe button and join the Lemonade Stand? I would truly love to have you here. So without further ado, let's make some lemonade. All right, so nurses in my audience, you guys are gonna love this one. And by love, I mean hate. First, I have to tell you what I'm drinking. It looks weird and milky and gross, but it's actually really delicious. So this is sweetened coconut milk, vanilla flavored, and bai, like one of those bai juices. I've been really digging those lately. And all I did was mix it together, add some ice. This is really freaking good. So when you visit your primary care practitioner, the expectation is that everybody there has it together. You know, they know what they're doing. They're properly educated, credentialed, trained, validated. Why would you assume otherwise, right? These are things that we really don't think about because why would we? You put a great deal of trust into your healthcare provider and just people in general on a day-to-day basis. You're trusting that they're legitimate. You're trusting that they've been properly vetted by the facility that they work for, if they work for a facility, and you're just trusting that they know what they're doing. Well, today's tale challenges that very notion. The story today is actually still ongoing, and arrests have only very recently been made, like within the last year. So before we get to it, a quick word from today's sponsor. Pixel Perfect Designs is an e-commerce store, and they would just really love to help you enhance your personal space with a wide range of home decor pieces, decorative elements, and office supplies. They have a product line which includes desk mats, phone cases, beverage tumblers, mugs, laptop sleeves, and my personal favorite, notebooks. Pixel Perfect Designs business is unique in that the products are not so niche that only a select few people would use them. They actually have a very basic product line, but what's great is that you can choose from any number of custom designs and have that design applied to the product of your choice. Every single graphic design on Pixel Perfect Designs is completely custom made by the team. In honor of our collaboration, Pixel Perfect Designs has made me 4 custom collections on their website: Curly Sketches, Lemon Zest Delight, Lemonade Dreams, and Zesty Sips. For my viewers, you guys can use the code Lemon Drop Specials for 40% off of any product in my collection. That code again, Lemon Drop Specials for 40% off for any product within my 4 collections. Thank you to the team at Pixel Perfect Designs for sponsoring this video and for being a supporter of the channel. So you may have seen in the news sometime in the last year about the fake nursing diploma scam in Florida. As if Florida doesn't have enough problems, right? In February of this year, a story broke on Yahoo about this scheme. It had been uncovered that almost 8,760 to be exact, aspiring nurses cheated the healthcare education system and bought bogus nursing degrees. These degrees came from 3 schools in South Florida: Siena College in Broward County, the Palm Beach School of Nursing, and Sacred Heart International Institute, also in Broward County. All of these schools have effectively been shut down following the discovery of this scheme. So of that 7,600, about 2,600 of those aspiring nurses who bought into the scheme went on to take the required nursing board exams for their states, thus giving them the ability to work in healthcare facilities all over the United States. They obtained fraudulent documentation to work as registered nurses, licensed practical nurses, LPNs, and licensed vocational nurses, LVNs. These nurses have gone on to work in places such as assisted living facilities, working with homebound children, and for the Veterans Affairs Office. And though this is kind of based in Florida, this is not just in Florida. Documents show that they're working in states including but not limited to Georgia, Texas, Maryland, and Massachusetts. So this ruse has actually been going on for a few years now, but it was just recently shut down in 2021. The assistant special agent in charge of this whole investigation, named Fernando Porras, investigation by the United States Department of Health and Human Services, DHHS. So first of all, get this. This investigation is called Operation Nightingale. How badass is that? So, according to Agent Porras, part of Operation Nightingale was to send undercover agents into these schools so that they could act as aspiring nurses and then see what nursing degrees they could obtain. All of these undercover special agents were found to be able to obtain these fake nursing diplomas for a price somewhere in the ballpark of like $17,000. A quick sidebar about that: 7,600 people, aspiring nurses, almost 8,000 people obtained fake nursing degrees. They're they're paying around $17,000. That's not a small amount of money. And if we're being completely realistic here, most people do not have that kind of money just lying around. So I feel like it's probably not a super big stretch to assume that a lot of them likely borrowed that money to purchase their fake nursing degree. And that just made me think, how many people do you think went into debt over this? Went into debt paying for a fake degree that you can't even use. Now, that's making the assumption that they didn't know the degree was fraudulent. I can only imagine the heartbreak and disappointment, but we'll talk about more of my thoughts on that a little bit later. So according to information released by the good folks over at Operation Nightingale, this scheme generated well over $100 million. $100 million these nursing schools raked in doling out fake nursing degrees. And more specifically, according to recently unsealed indictments, the people involved in the scheme obtained nursing degrees and transcripts from accredited institutions and then sold them to the aspiring nurses. These people who bought these fake transcripts and degrees were then qualified to then go on to be able to sit for the National Nursing Board exams, then go on to earn a licensure for different types of nursing jobs. So I did mention that most of the story kind of like broke in Florida, but that's actually not where everyone involved lives. Some of the people being charged, yes, people have been charged with this. We'll talk about that in a second. They live all over the United States. Some of them, for example, live in New York and New Jersey. So at this juncture, 25 people have been charged with crimes related to this scheme. There are different charges and not everyone has the same charges. So the following that I'm about to relay is sourced directly from justice.gov. And before we begin, I would just like to offer the aggressive reminder that all of this information is alleged and all defendants are innocent until proven guilty. Stanton Witherspoon, Alfred Selou, and Renee Bernadelle are charged with, quote, conspiring to commit and committing wire fraud, end quote. The indictment alleges that the aforementioned individuals, quote, solicited and recruited individuals who sought nursing credentials to gain employment as an RN or LPN/VN, end quote. It is also alleged that the aforementioned individuals organized with someone named Unide Sanon, who managed Siena College, one of the previously mentioned now shut down nursing schools. It's alleged that they conspired with Sanon to, quote, create and distribute false and fraudulent diplomas and transcripts, end quote. And these fake documents reflected that the aspiring nurse had attended Siena College's nursing program, as well as all the necessary coursework and clinicals, when in fact they had never completed such coursework and clinicals. Additional information against Sanon alleges the following, quote, he and others sold thousands of fake Siena College nursing diplomas and educational transcripts to nursing applicants who used them to obtain RN or LPN/VN licenses in various states and nursing jobs with unwitting healthcare providers throughout the country, end quote. Reading on, more individuals who were indicted in this scheme: Gail Russ, Cheryl Stanley, Crystal Lopez, Ricky Riley, great name by the way, Damian Lopez, Reynoso Seed, Cassandra Jean. I went to middle school with a girl named Cassandra. I don't think this is her though. So I only listed a few names just then, but there were actually several listed, and I'm showing the documents on screen as I'm reading this. There are several listed in this summary on this summary of the case on justice.gov. I didn't name all of them. That was just some of them. So those people, as well as others again that I didn't mention, are charged with, quote, conspiring to commit and committing wire fraud, end quote. The indictment also alleges that those defendants also solicited and recruited individuals who sought out nursing credentials to gain employment as RNs, LPNs, or VNs, vocational nurses. It also alleged that these recruiting defendants were in cahoots with the owner of Palm Beach Nursing School. The owner is named Joanna Napoleon, as well as employees at the school, which were Gail Russ, Cheryl Stanley, Crystal Lopez, and Ricky Riley, quote, to create and distribute false and fraudulent diplomas and transcripts representing that the aspiring RN and LPN/VN candidates had attended Palm Beach School of Nursing and completed the necessary courses and clinicals to obtain RN or LPN/VN diplomas, end quote. Here's the kicker. These aspiring nurses never did any of the coursework or any of the clinicals. That Napoleon person who owned Palm Beach School of Nursing that I just mentioned was previously charged by information. They actually pled guilty to conspiring to commit healthcare fraud and wire fraud. So in regard to Sacred Heart International Institute, Ludney Jean Serge, Serge is a cool name if that's how you pronounce it. Simon Itaman, Anna Itaman, Romy Lewis, and Nige August. Oh my god, I cannot pronounce these names. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering these names. They were all charged with conspiring to and committing wire fraud. It is also alleged that those defendants also, quote, solicited and recruited, end quote, aspiring nurses. These recruiters then organized with a Charles Etienne, who is the owner of Sacred Heart Institute, to make and distribute false and fraudulent transcripts and diplomas, which represented that these aspiring nurses not only attended Sacred Hearts, but also completed all the required coursework and clinicals. As before, these aspiring nurses would then go on to get nursing jobs using these fake diplomas and documents all across the country. Charles Etienne is charged by information with conspiracy to commit wire fraud. So according to justice.gov, which will be linked below, all this will be linked below, by the way, that was just a really basic summary of the charges and what the indictment alleges. So at this point, what happens next? 25 people have been indicted with charges related to this crime. But then I thought, well, what about the 7,600 nurses? The ones who use these fake transcripts and diplomas that they bought and then went on to work at healthcare facilities. Like, what about them? What's going to happen to them? Well, there is a bit of good news there. In November of 2022, the Delaware Nursing Association made a press release in which they announced that they revoked 26 nursing licenses. 26. I will say, I am that they got them off the streets, but what about the other 7,574 nurses? The DNA, Delaware Nursing Association, they clearly made a really good move here, but there's still a lot more work to be done to get all the rest of these fake nurses off the streets. According to that Yahoo article back in January, in Georgia, 22 working nurses were told to surrender their fake credentials and degrees on January 17th. I could not find an update, though, to see if that has been followed through on. An article published January 30th said that they had not yet surrendered their credentials. That article will be linked below as well. Okay, so this is clearly disturbing for many reasons. I'm not a nurse. Obviously, you guys know that. If you're not new here, you know that. Personally, it's just never been a career aspiration of mine, but I have a lot of friends who are nurses. One of my aunts just graduated nursing school last year. A friend of mine from high school just graduated nursing school and she's about to start working as an ER nurse. So much respect to nurses. It's a really important field, and I'm fully aware that it is not easy to become a nurse. So I can imagine the plight of actual nurses watching this video, and if you're a nurse watching this, I can only imagine how much you are just seething in anger right now. And if I can think of a comparable situation, I just graduated with my Master's of Science in Human Nutrition with a clinical concentration. I'm now, as you all are watching this video, in my dietetic internship. After my dietetic internship is complete, I will have to sit through and pass the national RD exam, registered dietitian exam. And only then will I earn the RD credential after my name. So you can imagine how frustrating it might be for me or people who have been practicing as registered dietitians for years, know their craft, know their shit, having to compete with fitness influencers who took an online nutrition course and now they think that they're nutrition experts. Imagine how much I seethe with anger whenever I hear Autumn Calabrese call herself a nutrition expert when all she has is a dance degree and a health coach certification. And I've seen some sources say that she didn't even finish college. I can't confirm that though. That's just things that I've seen people say online. I don't know. But either way, dance is not nutrition. Never mind that. Autumn apparently took a 6-month intensive hormone health certification course. And now she's masquerading around like she knows what the fuck she's talking about when it comes to the endocrine system and hormone health in general. And I actually featured in an episode of Stuff Influencers Say, at this point probably a couple months ago, Autumn announced that Beachbody/Body is officially in the early stages of developing like a hormone health program. She has a 6-month hormone health certification. 6 months. I'm sorry. Do you know how long and the amount of work an endocrinologist has to put in to first earn the MD credential and then go on to specialize in endocrinology to learn the entire human endocrine system? I don't know for sure how long it takes to become an endocrinologist, but I know for damn sure it's longer than 6 months, Batman. Calm down. I know we're all upset. So, another massive problem with this, as noted by many of the publications I used to research for this video, is how this is a danger to public safety and how it hurts the legitimacy and credibility of the healthcare system in general. The following was stated in a press conference by the United States Department of Health and Human Services. To date, we have not learned of nor uncovered any evidence of patient harm stemming from these individuals potentially providing services to patients, end quote. I do hope that's true, but to be honest, that's really hard for me to believe. 7,600 fake nurses running around these streets and no one was hurt, not a single person. Like, are you sure? Are you sure? I keep thinking of a situation where one of these fake nurses is asked to place an IV, but they don't know how because they never learned, because they never went to school to do it. I doubt they said in that moment, actually, you know what? All of my diplomas and my degree and everything is fake. I actually have no idea what I'm doing. I doubt they said that in that moment. They probably just wung it. Just wing putting in an IV. Oh my God. I know I don't have to tell any of you watching this, but this hurts and devalues the entire nursing profession and actual nurses who have worked their buns off for their credentials. Additionally, again, this hurts the credibility of the entire healthcare system as a whole. Like, a lot of people already don't have full trust in the healthcare system and the healthcare industry. These are the people that turned to eating household cleaners to treat their arthritis when they could just safely take a damn Aleve and fasting to cure their cancer instead of chemotherapy, or using black market dietary supplements to try and cure whatever mental health illness they have. Or the same people who think that vaccines cause autism. The list goes on and on and on. This incident, I'm sure those people will definitely use to fuel their don't trust big pharma fire. Like, did any of the people who were accused of being involved in the scheme, who are innocent until proven guilty, any of them think about that? I doubt it. They probably didn't care. So lastly, I'm not sure at this point what, if any, repercussions any of these inspiring nurses who bought all these fake documents will face. I'm not sure if we can know for sure, if we'll even ever know, if they knew what they were doing. Hear me out. When I decided I wanted to become a registered dietitian, I researched all the necessary steps that one would have to take to do so.
You look good, girl.
Can I help you?
You look good.
Get out of here. Taking all the necessary Ascend accredited coursework, and then now in 2024, well, not now, but starting in a few months, January 2024, there's now a master's requirement. You have to have a master's degree to be able to sit for the RD exam. Once you successfully complete all the coursework, you then have to earn what's called a verification statement, and this basically just says, I've completed all the Ascend accredited coursework, and I'm now eligible to apply to a dietetic internship. Then the next step is successfully completing your dietetic internship, and then after that, taking and passing the RD exam. Then, yay, you're finally a registered dietitian, but even after that, you have to do continuing education every 5 years, and that's to maintain your credential and your licensure and all that kind of stuff. So if somebody came to me at any point during this process and gave me the option to basically bypass those steps, they were like, hey, you can skip all of the coursework and stuff, and I'll sell you this verification statement for $20,000. So you don't even have to get a master's or anything. You can just skip the line and go straight to applying for a dietetic internship, thus saving me the aspiring RD like 5-6 years of work. Not gonna lie, I'd be sketched out. Now, because I am someone who likes to think I act with integrity, usually, you know, unless you steal my food or something like that. But when it comes to my education and my future career, I like to think that I'd act with integrity. I know that that is not the right way to do it. I would turn that down because I know it's not legitimate. Also, full transparency, a majority of my education was actually paid for by the United States government GI Bill. I may tell that story one of these days. However, the United States government would not give me $20,000 to cheat my way toward my credentials and to cheat my way like past the education. They will and did, however, pay for my degrees. Did it take longer for me? Yeah, because I had to go to school, but like school is what you have to do, but they still paid for it, and I did things the right way, the way you're supposed to do it. So really, if I were presented with a situation like that, it would have been more, this kind of goes back to what I was saying before about how I'm willing to bet that a lot of these aspiring nurses who bought that stuff probably went into debt because no legitimate educational financial institution who funds education would pay for somebody to basically skip the line. I mean, they shouldn't, right? So back to my example, I could buy a verification statement for $20,000 from some guy on the internet and like, you know, find a way to come up with that money on my own because the government's not going to give me the money to do that, or just let the government pay for my degrees. Yeah, it takes longer, but it's actually more economical because I don't have to pay for it there. And my education would be legitimate anyway. So if any of these nurses that kind of got tied up in this scheme and did end up buying fake credentials, if any of them were to say that they didn't know that it was not legit, I just find it hard to believe. If you're on the path to becoming a nurse, I assume you know the right steps that you have to take. If you are offered an easy way to cheat your way through a lot of the process and you choose that way, In my opinion, you're as disingenuous as the people selling you the scam. You have no integrity. You have no regard for public safety or the integrity of the entire nursing profession. You're disrespecting people who are nurses, who actually work to become nurses. Being realistic here, there probably were those out there who genuinely thought that what they were doing was legit, like buying the fake, buying the diploma from the Palm Beach School of Nursing, or, you know, however they did it. There were probably some out there that genuinely thought it was legit, but I still feel like I have to call them out. Why? For poorly researching the nursing profession. You really thought you could just buy a diploma, skip all the coursework and skip all your clinicals, skip all that, and then just take the nursing exam, and you thought that was legit? Really? I'm sorry you fell for a scam, but also, I'm sorry, you research your future career very, very poorly. And you just really should have done your due diligence, and clearly you didn't. So, those are my closing thoughts. Like, I don't know, what do you guys think about that last bit that I just said? Like, do you think I'm being too harsh with that opinion? What do you guys think? I don't know. Let me know below. Thank you so very much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you made it to this point, comment nurse. And hey, just for fun, if you're a nurse watching this, tell me what setting do you work in? And maybe tell me a gross, funny story, because I like asking people who work in healthcare for funny stories. And also, if you're a nurse, thank you very much for your nursing service. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. If you want to see more similar content, hit the subscribe button. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Queen Lemon, over and out.
Hey, Zeus, what are you doing? Why are you just sitting down here? You know what? Since you're down here by yourself, I give you all the lovin'. I'll give you all the lovin'. What a big stretch, sir. You want to say bye? It's just you, Zeus. You don't have to share the spotlight at all with your brother or sister. Hey, dude. Hey. He's looking at birds. He can't be bothered with you guys right now. Well, would you like to at least make some eye contact with the camera? He just can't be bothered with me right now at all. He's too busy looking out the window. Can you say bye? Hmm? Can you say bye? Zeus, come on. So handsome. Bye.